Pittsburgh Steelers 53-man roster is officially set, and while everything looks pretty good, there's one concern, and I will say that I'm going to be more positive than negative in this video and on this podcast, and I'm going to make sure that I hammer how successful I think the Steelers were in creating this 53-man roster. But overall, there is just one thing that I can't get over that I think the Steelers are going to make a move to fix. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackbine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers To Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/allsteelerstalkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Steelers 53-man roster is officially set, and today we are going to talk about it. Like I said, I have to address how positive this is. The Steelers 53-man roster looks really good. They have three quality quarterbacks, and you can have your thoughts on Mitch Trubisky or Mason Rudolph, but they are a great 1 and 2 behind Kenny Pickett, or 2 and 3 behind Kenny Pickett. They have three running backs that right now I feel better about their running back situation than I did a year ago when it was Benny Snell Jr. And I think Benny Snell is a quality backup in the NFL. The fact that they kept 6 wide receivers makes a lot of sense to me. I have been a guy that says keep Miles Boykin this entire time just because you need to have those special teams guys. And I think those special teams guys are way more valuable than they can appear. Miles Boykin does not play great offense. He's not a great wide receiver, but he's a great gunner. And yes, everybody could say, oh, well, you could replace these guys. Yes, but you're taking a risk just as you would any other position on offense, on defense, and yes, on special teams. The same goes with Miles Killebrew, a name that I thought could have been on the bubble, sticks around. Love that. Love that the Steelers made sure that Danny Smith has a whole pack of gum to yell and cheer for all of these guys as the special teams hopefully continues to have the same success that it has had in recent years. And when you have Calvin Austin back there returning punts, you want as many good names as you could possibly have. The fact that you kept Chandon Sullivan and Elijah Riley, huge W for me. That means that you have security at safety and at outside corner. Chandon Sullivan could play that fifth cornerback spot. I guess we're going to get to that in a second. And then Elijah Riley, he would be the safety that comes on the field if the Steelers needed to replace Keanu Neal, DeMonte KZ, or Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think that both of those guys earned their roster spots, and both of those guys looked great throughout the summer. Shocked about the move to keep Montravius Adams and Armon Watts over Brandon Fehoko, but I'm not upset about it. I think that it's the perfect mix. Montravius Adams is a pass rusher. Armon Watts is a little bit of do-it-all. Keanu Benton is your run stuffer. I think he's going to turn into an all-around freak. But for right now, he's really quality against the run, and that's where Brandon Fehoko shined. Isaiah Loudermilk could stuff the run as well. I just think that the Steelers have options there and a beautiful mix heading into the regular season. Don't keep 5 inside linebackers. I understand why. One of those guys is going to be inactive on Sundays. You might as well say screw it and keep another nickelback. Think that's way more valuable. And again, we'll get into their needs here in a second, but their wins, huge wins. To wheel and deal Kevin Dotson and Kendrick Green, man, can't praise that one enough. Omar Khan continues to win and will continue to win. I don't know how he does it. I don't know why it took him so long to get a GM job, but man, for everybody who was sitting around, myself included, saying Brandon Hunt was the guy that the Steelers should have hired because he fit the mold, thank God the Steelers went against the mold, because Omar Khan, he is the con artist for a reason, and that reputation seemingly only gets better by the day. Overall, huge win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't think that they screwed up anywhere. I think there's one concern that they have to address, and that concern is something that I've been pounding the drum on and will continue to pound the drum on and believe that they're going to fix it. I think that the Steelers have at least one move left in them, maybe two, and I think it revolves around their cornerback situation. They kept James Pierre, which I'm not against. I think James Pierre is a valuable special teamer. I think that if they go the way that I foresee them going at this moment, it makes sense. I don't think James Pierre should ever step on the field on defense, especially this season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If your defense looks that good and you feel this confidently about your team heading into the regular season, to put James Pierre on the field and say, this is who we're comfortable with if somebody goes down, you cut yourself short in a major way. And you just can't do that if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and everybody else sees the hype and you 100% believe that hype. You cannot take a risk like that. But I see them solving it. They kept 2 punters, which everybody is, what are they doing? Oh my gosh. And I'm the same way. I look at this and just go, why? And then it clicked. I think that one of 2 things happens. One, Omar Khan's got another trick up his sleeve, and he's gonna make a trade. I think that Braden Mann is a valuable punter. He's coming off a career best year. He had a good summer. He had a good preseason. The Steelers like Presley Harvin, and I don't think they're moving on from Presley Harvin, but they're not going to keep 2 punters. It's just not going to happen. The New York Jets don't have a punter after waiving theirs. Braden Mann spent the last 3 years with them. The Eagles have been rumored to be interested in Braden Mann the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I think they would have grabbed him if the Steelers let him go, but there's a part of me that sits here and believes, I think Omar Khan sat there and went, why would we get rid of him? There's no point in getting rid of him. And everybody wants to talk about, well, they didn't trade Zach Gentry. Why didn't they trade Zach Gentry? Maybe it's because they believe they could get some value out of Braden Mann, and they think that is the better way to go, and that is the easier sale to make if you're Omar Khan. I'm not sold. I'm just saying there's something in my head that says the Steelers are not done wheeling and dealing yet, and Omar Khan is going to continue to be Omar Khan, and this is what he does. Every time that you think, oh, okay, well, that was it. That was a good move by Omar Khan. There's another one coming, and I think this could be the next one coming for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But if they do not, and even if they do, I still see this happening. The Steelers could claim someone off waivers. They currently sit 17th on the waiver wire, and I believe that they do claim somebody off waivers. I think that they still add a corner. I don't know who it is. I've mentioned Desmond King. I've mentioned William Jackson. I even briefly mentioned Artie Burns, and people lost it. And I admit, as soon as I listened to yesterday's podcast, I sat there and went, yeah, I probably shouldn't have mentioned Artie Burns first. I probably should have waited till the end on that one because I would have left 2. I'm not saying Artie Burns is an answer. I'm not saying William Jackson is an answer. I think there are questions to all these. But I think that the Steelers have so many options right now when it comes to finding another corner that they must and they will go out and get one. Either Braden Mann is going to be the guy that replaces or that they use to sign somebody off waivers or claim someone off waivers and then get rid of their second punter, or they're going to trade Braden Mann, which would still free up a roster spot. And at that moment, they add somebody. If you're listening to this podcast after 12 o'clock noon on Wednesday, chances are that's already happened because that's how quickly I think it's going to go. Like I said, they sit 17th on the waiver wire right now. I don't think they're going to wait it out. I think they'll find somebody. There are a lot of names out there, a ton of names that just got cut, and so many so that other teams are going to look at other positions before corner, and some of them are going to go after a corner, but not 16 of them. The Steelers will have some pick when it comes to who they want there. I expect them to most definitely sign somebody. And at that moment, you feel okay. If you have 2 options as your 4th and 5th corner, you could feel better about that, even if they are both on the same playing ground. You just find the one that's better. If it's James Pierre, you're in a really difficult spot, but then it's James Pierre, and you got to accept what you got to accept. If it's the signee or the waiver claim, you're in a great spot. You feel a lot better about this defense, and you're able to keep James Pierre as a special teams value, all while hopefully this other guy is a special teams value as well. That's a huge win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that their cornerback room is still extremely, extremely concerning and will not be less concerning until they add somebody and until we see that somebody play or at bare minimum practice. I don't know how they go about it. I was a little surprised that James Pierre stuck around, but if they're going to go about it and say, hey, look, here's 5 guys and we feel better about 5 guys, I could get on board with that and feel comfortable enough. But that is hands down their most glaring need. They did not address it. It's their only hole that they have left on this team, and it could be a big one. If Patrick Peterson is not capable of playing every snap on the outside, and if Joey Porter Jr. is not ready to take on such a significant role this early, or if anybody goes down, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in trouble at the cornerback position. I know I keep ranting about this and I keep going off, but it's super true. and on a team that looks as good as the Pittsburgh Steelers look. And I just can't continue to hammer that enough. The Steelers look so good. We've talked about how they could be a playoff team and how they can make a Super Bowl run and how this is Kenny Pickett's window. It has now opened, and all of it. I think it's all there. It's all in front of them. You don't want to throw it away with a bad cornerback room. And they need to just have options. If you have options, you feel a lot better than where you are right now. And right now, I just don't feel great about it.